Joe Biden's wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will talk to Democrats and the country tonight about why her husband should be president. It is night 2 of the convention, and a busy one. Should be about 17 speakers in all.
Yeah, it caps off with Joe Biden being officially nominated through a virtual roll call of delegates. Political specialist Sean Boyd joins us now with a preview on the campaign tonight.
So in Colorado, immigrant and party activist Howard Chow and his family will give that roll call vote tonight and discuss the challenges facing working parents during the pandemic. In addition to two former presidents, a second lady, and some rising stars in the Democratic Party, there will also be a surprise message tonight from the wife of late Republican Senator John McCain. It is unclear if Cindy McCain will fully endorse the Democratic ticket for president, but we know Senator McCain had a close relationship with Joe Biden and was criticized by President Trump before and after his death.
It was a friendship that shouldn't have worked. John, a former Navy pilot just released from a North Vietnamese prison. Joe, a young senator from Delaware.
Also tonight, former President Bill Clinton is expected to issue his sharpest rebuke yet of President Trump, likening the Oval Office to a storm center full of chaos. And the National Party is allowing progressive New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, 1 minute to speak. I asked our analysts, Democrat Mike Dino and Republican Dick Wadhams, to weigh in on what to expect from AOC and Clinton.
AOC has won. I mean, her agenda is the Democratic Party agenda now, as Bernie talked about, and so there's not much for her to talk about that Bernie didn't last night. He has clearly moved Joe Biden and the Democratic Party to the left.
Well, President Clinton, I think he was the last Democrat to beat an incumbent Republican. So one, he kind of manifests that it can be done again. Two, I think he harkens back to an age when America was well respected on the international front and how far we've fallen. And I think in sort of an odd way, people point out the dysfunction of him as a president, but he certainly was extremely functional as a manager of our government, as a leader.
The keynote address tonight will be delivered by Dr. Jill Biden, a longtime teacher. She will speak live from a school where she once taught in Delaware. And like the candidates' wives who've come before her, she is expected to talk about Joe Biden, the husband, father, and friend, the many tragedies he has faced. And she will likely share personal anecdotes to help voters relate to him. Late tonight, we have just learned as well, another surprise guest will be former Republican Secretary of State Colin Powell. So a lot going on tonight, and I will have a full wrap for you guys.